Pause here. This is where the story of Yuji Itadori really begins. This isn't just about a young man with extraordinary strength. It's about a hero, born from a single choice, who was thrust into a world of curses and horrors he never wanted to face. Meet Yuji Itadori, a boy who thought he was ordinary until he made one impossible choice. But in the process, he became something more, a vessel of power, and a fighter with a mission that defies death itself. Before curses and chaos, Yuji Itadori was just a teenager in Sendai City, living a peaceful life. His days revolved around his friends and family, but a tragedy loomed over him. The impending loss of his grandfather, Wasuke, was here, in the silence of a hospital room, that Yuji learned the words that would shape his destiny: help others, don't die alone. With strength beyond the ordinary, Yuji's talent could have taken him anywhere, but he wasn't interested in fame or power. Even with his unmatched physical skills, Yuji valued simple things in life. Little did he know that this strength and the compassion instilled by his grandfather would pull him into a battle he couldn't escape. It was one fateful night that changed everything. When a cursed spirit attacked, Yuji made a desperate decision to swallow one of Sukuna's fingers, becoming the vessel for the king of curses. This wasn't about glory, it was about saving a friend. In that moment, Yuji's life was rewritten, from ordinary teenager to cursed warrior. Imagine the terror of realizing that your own body is now home to a deadly curse. Yuji's choice brought him into the world of Jujutsu, where every moment was a fight for control. But instead of fear, Yuji faced this new reality with determination. His life was no longer his own, but he vowed to use it to protect others. With his life forever changed, Yuji soon discovered that his strength wasn't just physical, it was his courage, his relentless hope that even in a world tainted by darkness, he could make a difference. As he took his first steps in Tokyo Jujutsu High, Yuji unknowingly accepted a future where he would walk the line between life and death every day, just to save the lives of others. Embracing the role of Sukuna's vessel wasn't just a choice, it was a commitment to something greater than himself. It was the start of a journey where Yuji would learn the real strength isn't measured by muscle, but by the willingness to face the unknown, give everything for those he holds dear. In that moment, Yuji became not just a vessel, but a protector for those unable to defend themselves. Once at Jujutsu High, Yuji found purpose alongside his classmates Megumi and Nobara. Each mission solidified his belief everyone deserved a proper death, a respect for life that Yuji held dear. Yet the deeper he went into the world of curses, the more he realized how quickly those ideals would be tested. Under the guidance of Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer, Yuji's skills grew exponentially. But it wasn't just strength Gojo taught him, it was resilience. Gojo believed in Yuji's potential, pushing him to unlock his own cursed energy and embrace the responsibility that came with it. Despite the darkness he faced, Yuji found comfort in friendship. Nobara and Megumi became more than just teammates, they were his family in this chaotic world. Together they faced terrifying curses, shared victories, and defeats that bound them closer than any blood relation could. In those friendships, Yuji found the courage to face unimaginable horrors. Megumi's stoic support and Nobara's fierce loyalty gave him a reason to fight. Together, they became a formidable trio, not just fighting to protect the world from curses, but fighting to protect each other, a bond stronger than any curse. Their bond was his lifeline, each of them holding onto one another through the storm of curses. Yuji's faith in them and his desire to protect their lives fueled his growth as a sorcerer. It wasn't just his power that grew, it was his understanding of what he was willing to sacrifice for those he loved, a resolve that became the bedrock of his convictions. Through every battle, Yuji's friendships became the foundation of his strength. They reminded him that while the cost of fighting was high, the cost of doing nothing was far greater. As he stood with his friends, facing the abyss, Yuji's will to protect grew fiercer, an unstoppable force filled by loyalty and love. But no battle had prepared Yuji for the cruelty of curses. His encounter with Mahito, a curse that twisted souls with malice, forced him to face the true horror of his role. When Mahito used Junpei, a friend, as a pawn in his twisted game, Yuji felt an anger he'd never known before. In that moment, Yuji's anger became his strength. He was no longer fighting just to survive. He was fighting to rid the world of those who stole life without remorse. Mahito's cruelty brought out a darkness within Yuji, one that he wrestled with, but ultimately embraced to become a weapon against curses. Yet, each death weighed on him, the sorrow building like a burden too heavy to bear. Yuji questioned his role, wondering if his efforts were enough, or if he was simply a cog in an endless cycle of violence. His determination to protect began to waver, haunted by the lives he couldn't save. This inner darkness wasn't just anger, it was pain, a reminder of the fragility of life that Yuji had come to value. Yet, even as he struggled with despair, he chose to channel it into something powerful. This wasn't just a fight against curses, it was a battle within himself to hold on to hope. Yuji's inner turmoil became the very source of his resilience. He realized that the darkness he faced within was also the force that drove him forward. It was the shadow he embraced to protect the light in others, a paradox that fueled his every step. The Shibuya incident was the crucible that tested Yuji's soul. The moment Sukuna took control, leaving a trail of destruction, Yuji's guilt became unbearable. He blamed himself for the lives lost, for the destruction that wasn't his doing, yet felt like his burden. As Yuji fought through Shibuya's twisted chaos, his spirit began to shatter. He questioned everything, his beliefs, his worth, and whether he could truly protect anyone. But in the depths of his despair, he found a flicker of hope in his memories of his friends. With each painful step, Yuji held onto the faces of those he loved. They had given him strength when he needed it most, and now, in this darkest moment, they became his guiding light. Their sacrifices ignited a fire within him, a promise to fight, no matter how overwhelming the odds. Though the weight of Shibuya's loss threatened to break him, Yuji refused to let it define him. His pain became his strength, transforming his sorrow into determination. He would not let despair claim him, for he had chosen to be a protector, no matter the cost. With the lessons of Shibuya burned into his heart, Yuji knew his purpose. His final battle with Sukuna wasn't about vengeance, it was about redemption, both for himself and for Megumi. He would sacrifice everything to free his friend and rid the world of Sukuna's evil. As Yuji faced Sukuna, he drew strength from every person who had guided him, every friend who had given him hope. This wasn't just his fight, it was the fight of every life touched by Sukuna's curse. It was a battle to save those who couldn't save themselves. Through every wound and every setback, Yuji's resolve only grew stronger. He had found his purpose not as a vessel for Sukuna, but as a beacon for humanity. He fought for those he loved, for those who had fallen, and for a future free of curses. In the end, Yuji's journey wasn't about defeating Sukuna. It was about becoming the hero he was always meant to be. With every battle, he forged a legacy of courage, a testament to the power of hope in a world of darkness. Subscribe to witness more unforgettable journeys like Yuji's, because every hero's story deserves to be told. See you next time. SeemlyTuber out. Peace.